5. Thus, we are witnessing the birth of a new humanism. Exactly. NWO talk. In other words, remember the French Revolution? All the philosophe verbiage? This is French Revolution Masonic philosophe verbiage, if you've read those texts, and I have studied them in grad school. Did you not hear me multiple times say it's a new kind of humanism? What does the text say right there? A new humanism is born. One in which man is defined first of all by responsibility to God? No. Remember what we saw about the rewording of the first and greatest commandment? What was the rewording? Responsibility first of all to other men. You're only fully human, you're only fully a man. Your number one responsibility is to the society of man. That is straight up socialism and Marxism right there. That's Marxism, Socialism 101. You achieve your full maturation as a person and as an individual in the collective because you're responsible to the collective. The number one responsibility that you have in this new humanism isn't to God with the rewording of the first commandment. It is to what? To all other men, to humanity. Wow. Man, the autonomous author of his own culture. Wow. Now you think, okay, that's pretty bad. Well, guess what? It gets even worse. Because with all of those French Revolutionary Socialist arguments laid down, again, this is not new in Vatican II. It's actually in Pacem in Terris, John the 23rd encyclical on these things. What's the goal of all this? Did Jesus, now keep this in mind, Jesus didn't send a church with any political, social, or economic mission at all. That's what the text said. None. But now watch this contradiction as we shift to the social United Nations goal that is the real goal of Catholicism in the post-Vatican II era. Watch this. This is going to blow your mind because it gets even worse. Paragraph 82. Remember, the church has no social, economic, political goals, but now we have the goal of the outlawing of all war. Yes, you heard me right. The text that I have, which is not, it doesn't have all of the headings. The actual headings in the text that I have, I'll show it to you. It actually says, it is time to outlaw all warfare. What? In the meantime, efforts have already been made and are still underway to eliminate the danger of war. On the contrary, support should be given to the goodwill of every man to do away with war. So, I thought we had no duty in the Catholic Church to political, social, and economic realms. Jesus didn't establish that. Wait a minute. But now the Vatican, as a geopolitical global institution, is ready to put aside all nationalistic differences. Oh, wait a minute. What? Notice that? Are you noticing how socialist and Marxist this document actually is? Look at the last section of 82. Watch this. There needs to be new education, particularly with the young, so that they don't fall into old problems. What are these old problems? Let's not let a false hope deceive us. Unless enmities and hatred are put away, honest agreements concerning world peace. Did Jesus say he came to bring world peace? I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. The new Vatican II Jesus, though, is a geopolitical symbol of socialist world peace and internationalist institutions. And it's explicitly going to say that here in a second. Okay. But I want you to see the actual Marxist verbiage right here. The Church of Christ does not cease to hope firmly, right, that this peace can happen. Wait a minute. I'm looking for there's a passage where it talks about getting rid of nationalism. Let me find that in the meantime. Let's see. The copy that I have is the Austin Flannery version of it. So it's worded a little bit different and the paragraphs are spaced different. So it takes me a minute to find some of the text from one to the other. So if you see, this is my version right here, Vatican II, Austin Flannery translation. And let's see, paragraph 82. In the meantime, okay. Okay, this is interesting because it looks like right here, the way that the Vatican text is translated, it says, men should take heed not to entrust themselves only to the efforts of some, while not caring about their own attitudes. Government officials who must at one and the same time guarantee the good of their own people and promote the universal good are generally dependent on public opinion and feeling. It does them no good to work for peace as long as feelings of hostility, contempt, and distrust, and racial hatred continue to divide men into camps. Consequently, there is above all a pressing need for renewed education. So brainwash young people not to care about themselves, their people, their heritage. And there's a specific section where it talks about nationalism, but that's in the let's see. Oh, this is it right here. Yeah. In order to, here's where I'm getting to. This is it. Section 2, setting up an international community. Look at that. International socialist goals, international socialism. Literally, you could read any of the Fabian socialist texts, any of the Marxist texts about their internationalist goals and agendas and how they speak. And it's exactly identical to this. In order to build up peace and above all the causes of discord amongst men, especially injustice, which foment wars, they must be rooted out. Now remember, we were just told that the church doesn't have any political and social mission, that Jesus gave it. But apparently the Vatican and the CIA and the Fabian socialists are giving it a mission. Not a few of these causes come from excessive economic inequalities. Why are there wars? Because rich nations have more money than the poor nations. It's exactly what socialists always say. Other cause of discord relates to contempt, envy, distrust, pride, egotism, etc. Thus, what's the solution? Jesus and Christianity? No. The solution is organizing together in international bodies to create international organizations for global peace and the ending of war. That's what we just read earlier. That's the UN, all the stuff that Francis and all of his buddies promoted. That's UNESCO. That's the World Economic Forum. Remember, Klaus's mentor is the same mentor as Francis. Paulo Freire, the socialist, and then Archbishop Camara. Those are the mentors. Francis's mentor, Klaus's mentor. Camara, the liberation theologian, socialist, What is this? Liberation theology, socialism. So, did you even know that your own Vatican documents, all you Roman Catholics and you trad cats, that your documents actually teach the New World Order, UN socialist agenda? Clear as day. And then guess what? There's more. We're not even done. Why has this problem persisted? Well, it turns out it's partly the fault of Christianity. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Already there exists international organizations helping the human race. Oh, thank you. Thank you, UN. They are laying the foundations for an international community, a new world order. And Christians are helping to create this by working with non-Christians. The present solidarity of mankind calls for a revival of international cooperation in economics. International monopoly capital socialism. That's what this is. Now that all people have become autonomous, this unification is becoming difficult. The development of a nation depends on financial aid. Interesting. But remember, Jesus didn't give the church a political, social, and economic mission. This entire document is about the political, social, and economic mission of the United Nations supporting Vatican. Do you not see how stupid this is and how crazy this is? I'm trying to find the part where it says change of heart. It's supposed to be paragraph 82 at some point. That Christianity needs a change of heart. If I can find that. Here it is. Indeed, we all need a change of heart regarding the world and the better unification and unison of the human race. So Christianity got it wrong for all these years. It needs a change of heart. What do you have obligations to? Turns out your obligations are to the international community. Again, everything this document has been saying over and over and over. In view of the increasingly close ties and mutual dependence today between all the inhabitants and peoples of the earth, the apt pursuit of efficacious attainment of the universal common good requires the community of nations organize itself into a manner suited to its present responsibilities, especially towards many parts of the world suffering from lack. If you're a wealthy nation, you are not helping and supporting humanity. You owe all of your money to the poor nations because of why? Jesus and socialism. I mean, if you don't see a problem with this, I thought you guys were against the New World Order. This is the New World Order right here. Okay. It is the United Nations and the Vatican has many, many times over said they like the United Nations. In fact, the Benedict the 15th was a supporter of the League of Nations. So it's not like this is some new post-Vatican II thing. Pope Benedict the 15th, if you have the Oxford History of the Popes, Read his entry. It talks about him being a huge supporter of the League of Nations, which was a Fabian socialist agenda on record, as we've covered. This is also a Fabian socialist agenda. If you can't recognize it, I don't know what to tell you. Last paragraph of 84 is really wild. Watch this. Already existing international and regional organizations on record, as we've covered, supporter of the League of Nations. Oxford History of the Pope. You have the Oxford History of the Popes. Read his entry. It talks about him being a huge supporter of the League of Nations, which was a Fabian socialist agenda. Read his entry. Oxford History of the Popes. Read his entry. It talks about him being a Vatican II thing. Pope Benedict XV, if you have the Oxford History of the Popes, read his entry. It talks about him being a huge supporter of the League of Nations, which was a Fabian socialist agenda on record, as we've covered. This is also a Fabian socialist agenda. If you can't recognize it, I don't know what to tell you. Last paragraph of 84 is really wild. Watch this. Already existing international and regional organizations are certainly well deserving of the human race. In other words, the UN. What do you think he's talking about? The UN, the Fabian socialist organizations, that's the only ones that exist. That's what they're talking about. UNESCO. These are the first efforts at laying the foundation of the international community of all men working together to solve the problems of the human race, to progress everywhere, and to get rid of war. Again, did Jesus say he came to bring world peace or a sword? In all of these activities, the Roman Catholic Church takes joy in the spirit of brotherhood. Again, Masonic gibberish speak. To relieve human misery. I'm pretty sure Jesus said it is not the mission of the church to secure the temple. Temporal gains and the temporal health of world peace and of the nations. He said he came to bring a sword and to preach the gospel of repentance. This is the gospel of Fabian socialism and fixing the world. And if you've never read the Grand Inquisitor chapter, which I had a whole college class on the Grand Inquisitor chapter, this proves Dostoevsky was a prophet. Dostoevsky said the papacy will ditch Jesus and will offer a world socialism answer. To solving man's temporal problems.